Hello there gamers, and welcome to our somewhat prolonged coverage of E3 2015. The conference is now over and gamers are still digesting the headlines, but we have some more work to do. First of all, a production note. Almost Gaming headquarters is located in southern Georgia, where temperatures are currently reaching the high 90s. So even the air conditioning is having a little bit of trouble keeping up. So while I normally turn my overhead fan off, though sometimes I do forget, today I'm keeping it on purpose. So I apologize if that throws anything off. This video is going to cover the games announced at E3 2015 by third-party companies. First, a couple of notes. I am aware that for the very first time there was a PC gaming press event held at E3. However, from what I've heard of it, it was definitely a first-year event. It was a bit awkward, and also from what I've heard, there weren't really any major announcements. Now, if I do happen to find some, I'll make sure to include them in the next edition of Almost Gaming. Also, what exactly do I mean by third-party announcements? Well, as you may know, third parties are companies that don't make their own consoles, but make games. I'm going to be telling you about the games that those companies announced that were not included in the Big Three press events. So games like The Division, Fallout 4, and Hitman are not going to be included in this video. I'm only going to be telling you about the games that these companies revealed themselves. Alright, we are ready to dive into a look at these upcoming games. Now, since they were all revealed at company-specific press events, let's take them one company at a time. This is the first year that Bethesda has held their own E3 press event, likely taking advantage of the attention that Fallout 4 is getting to give some press to their other titles. But besides Fallout 4, what else did they have to show us? Thanks to a mishap in a rehearsal Twitch stream, this isn't exactly news, but they did confirm a sequel to their stealth fighting game, Dishonored. In Dishonored 2, you play as Corvo, but you also play as Emily, the princess who was kidnapped in the first game. Now an assassin, she's helping Corvo take down an otherworldly usurper to the throne. This multi-platform title comes out in 2016. We got our first look at Doom, the fourth entry in the Doom series. Is the next one just going to be Doom 2 and repeat 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? It looks satisfyingly gory and demonic and shooty bang 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 bang. This is a callback to the old shooter with health kits and ammo drops. Return to Hell in spring 2016. Most of the games announced at E3 are at least 6 months away, if not more. But Bethesda did give us one surprise by announcing a game and then immediately releasing it. Fallout Shelter is something of a mobile tie-in to Fallout 4. Players become the overseer of a vault that they build, expand, and defend in order to keep the citizens happy. Again, that title is available right now, free to play on iOS and Android. Remember, just because a game grants a definitive ending to a game series doesn't at all mean that that series is actually over. As Yahtzee quoted, "That is not dead, which can eternal lie." Mass Effect Andromeda picks up the series with a brand new protagonist and far from the planets of the original trilogy. The game's trailer had something of a Western theme to it, which could imply more exploration, the wild frontier, than warfare. This game is coming out in the holiday season of 2016, so to be clear, we're talking about like November 2016, something like 17 months from now. And not even the platforms that the game is going to be playable on have been announced yet. Star Wars: The Old Republic is getting a new expansion, Knights of the Fallen Empire. Free for all subscribers, the story involves two brothers raised in a harsh environment to be Jedi when one of them turns on the other, a plot point that just screams divergent player path. This expansion drops in October. Nintendo seems to have been perfecting the arts and crafts platformer lately, with Kirby using clay and then yarn, and now Yoshi using yarn as well. Well, another company has jumped on the yarn boat, which wouldn't float well, as EA publishes Unravel. But unlike Yoshi's Woolly World, where everything is made of yarn, in this game only the player is. In fact, one very long strand of yarn. The player has to make it through the entire game without running out of yarn. Now, there's no release date on this one yet, but interested gamers can place a $20 pre-order on EA's Origin service. We pretty much all know by now that EA is dominating the sports gaming scene. We got a quick look at NBA Live 16, with the most interesting new features seeming to be a face scanning app that can put you directly into the game. This one launches at 3 from downtown in October. The Mirror's Edge series is getting a third entry called Catalyst. This is going to be a prequel title that's going to explore Faith's origins. It's also going to be more of an open world game that is going to include a day and night mechanic. Look for this one February 23rd, 2016. Video games are based on a wide range of likes, intellectual properties, etc. And gaming is best when it's all things for all people. Thus, I don't have to like everything that video games are based on. To be completely honest with you, I am absolutely mystified at the popularity of the cartoon South Park. However, its most recent game, The Stick of Truth, was apparently popular enough to warrant a sequel. Called South Park, The Fractured But Whole, this time they're riffing on superheroes, using the superhero characters that the show has featured in the past. However, the game is said to use similar mechanics to The Stick of Truth. No release date for this one yet. Not that I care. For Honor is a Dynasty Warriors-esque historical battler where the player controls heroes on a battlefield of minions. The trailer for the game features knights, samurai, and Vikings, and it's said that the game is going to stay away from fantasy elements. No release date on this one either. Ubisoft did have a bone for the PC enthusiast with a PC-exclusive game. The next game in the Anno series is called Anno 2205, and it seems to be a resource-gathering race-to-space simulator. This one's coming out pretty soon, November 7th. Kind of like NBA Live, there's not a lot that you can actually say about a new entry in the Just Dance series. Just Dance 2016, whose title says just about everything that you need to know about it, does come with one new innovation. With the disconnection of the Kinect from the Xbox One, meaning now that none of the consoles requires the use of a camera, you can now download a control app to your smartphone, which allows you to play the game without a camera. The newest entry in the Star Ocean series, Integrity and Faithlessness, was shown off. The PS3, PS4 title will apparently add seamless integration between gameplay modes. The Japanese are going to see this around holiday 2015, with a Western release around 2016. Deus Ex Mankind Divided takes place 2 years after the events of Human Revolution. Augmented humans are now seen as outcasts and potential terrorists, and Adam Jensen is a double agent, working for Interpol's Task Force 29, while also helping a group of hackers trying to bring down the Illuminati. The game's trailer seemed to focus on making the game even more player choice, with things like weapon function changeable even on the fly. Keep an augmented eye out for this one in 2016. Project Setsuna is an RPG coming from Square's Tokyo RPG Factory in 2016, and that is literally all we know about it. The latest entry in Square Enix Montreal's mobilization of Square's IP is not a Hitman title like Go and Sniper, but instead a Tomb Raider title. Called Lara Croft Go, it boils the Tomb Raider gameplay down to its world-exploring, ruin-scrambling essence. This one's going to be hitting your smartphones later this year. One game that kind of flew under the radar last year was Nier, Square's action RPG. It apparently did well enough to warrant a sequel, but not so well as to have that sequel have much of anything to do with the original game. 3 brand new characters will be dealing with a mostly unrelated plot that involves a gaku, Japanese for desperately fighting your way out of a situation. I couldn't really find any information on a release date for this one. But the highlight of Square's presentation, and possibly the entire third-party portion of the conference, was getting another look at Kingdom Hearts 3. Sora, now looking a little more mature, is taking another trip through the Disney worlds, including newcomer Tangled, seems to be able to transform dual Keyblades into other types of weapons, and use Disney theme park rides as finishing moves. The game's release date is taking steps backwards, as the game is now just said to be in development. Well, that is a lot of exciting and interesting looking games coming down the pipe. I've got to say, after covering the console makers events and their "you can only play this with us" stuff, well, not so much Sony, it was very refreshing to cover a list of games that, for the most part, can be played on whichever system you want. Except for the Wii U, of course. Being a self-admitted Nintendo fanboy, it has been incredibly frustrating seeing third-party companies mostly ignoring the system. I get it to an extent. The gamepad almost requires unique development, while the other two systems can be easily ported between. I've also heard that Nintendo apparently isn't the friendliest company in the world when it comes to dealing with third-party companies. I can only hope that this changes with the NX, because third-party titles can really make or break a system. That is going to wrap up this look at E3 2015's big third-party game announcements. Thank you so much for watching. There is one more video left in our E3 2015 coverage, Almost Gaming's Top 10 E3 2015 headlines, so make sure to look forward to that. Also, the end slate at the end of this video will have links to our recaps of each of the big three console makers press events, so check those out if you have not already. Until next time, game on!